Speaking of climate change, when is Hannibal Buress gonna start thinking about some underwear change? Am I right, ladies?
Saints Row 2022, the poster child of an out-of-touch, incompetent developer that once had the formula to compete with Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto, who had such a great idea and aspirations of making a Saints Row game that removes everything people loved about Saints Row. In a desperate attempt to push a SJW feminist agenda and just borderline self-insertion, while trying their best to not offend anyone in the year 2023, but could not realize how ironic it was because they ended up offending real Saints Row fans in the process.
That was something, right? Yeah, Angel does it again. Don't be sad. This is just how it works out sometimes.
Now let's not get it misconstrued. The Saints Row franchise as a whole has been on a downward decline since Saints Row 4. Saints Row 3 came out the gate with killing off Johnny Gat and pulling a Fast and the Furious level stunts to appease to younger audiences, and Saints Row has us literally in a matrix while the earth got blown up, and Gat Out of Hell pretty much was a musical but was saved because it was Johnny Gat. Talk about taking all the seriousness out of your game to appease to younger audiences. I mean, good God, Trey, let it go. Let it go before you say something that might offend someone. But with everything that I just mentioned here, Saints Row still felt like a Saints Row game at its core because we still had the original cast that took themselves more seriously and did not try to push an agenda down your throat.
Some motherfuckers grabbed Aisha's sister right off the street.
Shit, man. That's the 6th girl this month. We know who's doing this?
Yeah, the Vice Kings.
No way, man. Kidnapping ain't King style.
Maybe that's Latanya's going behind King's back. Don't know, don't fucking care. Now, Aisha said they were driving a yellow sedan. Tail those bitches back to wherever they go and get those girls back.
Shit, tell these motherfuckers all the time they bringing their motherfucking woman. Bitch, get out the motherfucking car now. I'm not fucking playing. Break yourself, bitch. Break yourself. Gia. Gia.
Let's go rob a payday loan place.
And you know how we should celebrate afterwards.
Karaoke!
Yes!
And to this day, we still fight over which game truly was the best. Saints Row, Saints Row 2, or Saints Row the 3rd. Arguably, Saints Row 2 being arguably the best one out of the franchise, but I still give props to Saints Row 3 for innovating on a brand new engine and just having more fun gameplay to go on top of the storyline that we had. And now we have Saints Row 2022, and honestly, I should not be surprised that something like this happened, because Volition always just does something dumb and stupid. They just always do it, for whatever which reason. Because you guys remember how serious Saints Row 2 was, that it took itself with its storyline and pretty much went from an over-the-top action sequence in Saints Row 3, and then for whatever which reason blowing up the earth and putting us in a matrix and then putting us in the depths of hell because someone at the Volition Studios had a brilliant idea of listening to Anita Sarkeesian and being an inept clown. Well, I'm here to announce to you guys that Saints Row 2022 is not done being a meme woke joke of a game. About 2 weeks ago, Volition did pretty much the unthinkable and pretty much came out and announced to the world in YouTube Shorts, not a YouTube video by the way, on YouTube Shorts, the roadmap and future of Saints Row 2022. Which honestly, I think that it would have been better off if they didn't, because it was very evident that they have no desire to fulfill this game or try to fix any of the community's and fans' requests, because this game bombed in the office and then they lost $100 million and couldn't break even. Instead of actually hiring a real human being to do the voiceover work and announce the roadmap for Saints Row 2022, they instead used AI voiceover to do it on a YouTube short.
April, everyone gets a free Dead Island 2 cosmetic pack coming in May, free for all players. New district, combat overhaul, and more for expansion pass holders. The heist and the hazard, missions, events, and more. July brings a free update, new features, improvements, and more. Plus, expansion pass holders get a brand new solo mode.
When I tell you the sheer ineptitude and disconnect with reality that Volition has with their fans, I am not exaggerating. The fact that Volition cannot even be bothered to make a full structured YouTube video going in depth with the roadmap, just like how they went in depth with their stupid cast and the stupid story for Saints Row 2022 back in 2021, is just mind-blowing to me. And it just goes to show you the pure level of disconnect between their fans and their company and their franchise as a whole. Just really says a lot. And the sad reality is that because it's a YouTube short, nobody really knows that they're doing the roadmap. And really, the people that do knows that it's gonna be a stinker, because every single one of the shorts they put up has more dislikes than likes. And the sad part is that people are more looking forward to the Saints Row 2 Steam patch and PC patch more than the roadmap itself.
It'd be funny if it weren't so pathetic. No, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway.
To be honest with you, with how brutal these comments are, and rightfully so, I am not surprised they didn't disable the likes and dislikes and also disable the comments. By the way, the roadmap in question, and honestly, I am not going to read all this. You guys can read this for yourself, because I can really give two shits about this Saints Row game. I'm just going to keep it a stack with y'all. But to sum up the roadmap in a nutshell, April is going to be having a Dead Island 2 cosmetic pack, and May is going to be having an expansion and a overhaul update. But since the story is utter garbage, it doesn't have Johnny Gat in it, what does that matter? The entire main cast is pretty much just self-insertions of employees at Volition, and is just there to push an agenda for woke media and just woke politically correct ideas. July is going to include a new solo mode from what the roadmap is saying, and then basic new features and improvements. August, which is pretty much a full year since the game launched by then, is going to include a new story missions, enemies, cosmetics, and also a new district and improvements to life and more. Okay, and let me get this straight right now, because I might just be a little bit fucked up maybe. I might just be a little bit messed up in the head. So basically, instead of going back to the drawing board like everyone asked y'all to when y'all revealed the Saints Row trailer last year, instead of doing that and pretty much giving us the game that everybody wanted, you guys are thinking that it's a good idea to start putting in expansion packs for a game that literally slipped into irrelevancy at the day it launched, and every YouTuber and reviewer that was worth their soul told people that this game is not worth their time nor their money. Well, I guess evidently you guys are, because I'm just gonna be keeping it a stack with you guys. I feel like the only reason that they're doing this whole expansion thing in the first place with their DLCs for this game, even though they don't want to, is because the fact that you have people out there for whatever godly reason purchased the $100 and gold deluxe editions for this game for $100+, and I feel like they're gonna get sued if they don't and lose even more money and kill their company even faster. Like, seriously, there is nothing ambitious nor innovative about this expansion, for God's sake. Like, for real. Like, even though that they're putting in all these expansions for this game, it will still not cover up the fact that this game is so politically correct that they even had to put out their political correctness above the line where the roadmaps start in the article or in their newswire posts, mentioning bringing a new big meal to FBs, i.e. the politically correct version of freckle bitches that literally no one can care about. These developers were so concerned about not offending anyone, they literally took out the one thing, or like one of the many things that made them comedic and iconic at the same time, in order to push a few more sales and hope that they will attract more attention to anyone who appeals to a Twitter user.
Hi, my name is Erin. I use she, her pronouns, and I am
And then with people like myself and pretty much every single real Saints Row fan that's worth their soul and didn't fall into the hype pretty much called them out for what it was. They did literally everything in the book that they could to call us haters, defend their own game, and pretty much justify what they wanted to do instead of giving us a game that we actually wanted. And then when the inevitable happens and the game bombs and fails and crashes and burns, they have the audacity to blame their own fans for why the game failed in the first place instead of taking any sort of responsibility for their own actions. It's almost as if Volition turned into Rockstar Games. But sadly, I had more fun with GTA 5 single player modding it and 5M than I probably will have with Saints Row 2022.
You see what happens, Larry? You see what happens, Larry? Do you see what happens, Larry, when you fuck a stranger in the ass? That's what happens, Larry.
While I was looking around for information regarding Saints Row 2022 and the roadmap, I stumbled upon DeadlySteph's, i.e. the community manager for Saints Row and Volition, and by completely on accident, I mean completely on purpose, and it just goes to illustrate and drives home the illustration that Volition, and more importantly DeadlySteph, is so out of touch, incompetent, and basically have learned nothing from the launch of Saints Row 2022. A couple of days ago on April 16th, 2023, she basically quote tweeted this random tweet, I guess some verified Twitter user, I guess. That title was, "What was your biggest controversy?" And this just goes full circle back to her whole acting like terrorist thing. But she said, and I quote, "Said I would not stand for vocal Saints Row fans acting like terrorists, i.e. despicable harassment, and saying it will stop if I just give them what they want." And insane Saints Row fans took it deliberately out of context and to make nasty videos about me, saying I called all fans terrorists, FML. We were in the era of everything I said was somehow related to Saints Row and torn apart and misrepresented in YouTube videos. Couldn't do anything right, no one was touching grass, wouldn't have happened if I was a dude, just saying. Huh? To be clear, most Saints Row fans are absolutely lovely and I love talking to them. We just have some dark corners that come out more often than they should, unfortunately. If you needed more proof that Volition is that incompetent and DeadlySteph is a feminist, here you go. This is your community manager for Volition and Saints Row people. Because notice how she had to point out, and she said it wouldn't have happened if I was a dude, just saying. Well, to correct you, DeadlySteph, this would have happened regardless of if you was a dude or not, because no community manager that's the public image and public face of a new video game that you're helping them to promote and helping out your company in whatever which way you can, should not be calling their fans terrorists on Twitter, should not be having any feminist mental breakdowns on Twitter either, and should not be insulting and berating and just downright disrespecting their customers, their fan base, and anyone that might be remotely interested in your new product. You sometimes just sit there and then you just think to yourself in the heavens above, like, who the hell is hiring these people to do these games now? Because they're just mentally retarded, bro. I am still trying to figure out how the hell DeadlySteph has a job at Volition still. I just genuinely want to know. I asked the same exact question in my last rant video about Saints Row 2022, about how she still has a job. I just look at her profile picture and it just shows you everything I just need to know. It just shows you everything you just need to know. Because no mentally stable person would go on and hire someone that looks like this, much less for a position of being a community manager. And it just goes to show you that people that work in the games industries does not play any games. They do not listen to what the community wants. They don't take into any consideration for their fans, their customers, and anyone who is remotely interested in their company and in their franchises. And they just do whatever the hell they feel like doing, and then they get mad at you for not liking their ideas instead of the ideas us as the consumer wants them to make. Instead, they divert all expectations, label us all off as haters and terrorists on Twitter, have a meltdown, and then have this total queen bitch energy and brush it off your shoulder by saying it wouldn't have happened if I was a dude. And probably so, because the average dude these days probably would not even be having a mental breakdown on Twitter and trying to save face over their game not doing good and pretty much disrespecting their fans over constructive feedback. I can tell that this woman has never gotten a real date before, like in her teens or in her young adult life, because the average dude would just look at her and like say, oh yeah, she's crazy, just stay the hell away from her. She'll be that one chick that literally nobody wanted to talk to because she's crazy. She's crazy. And then DeadlySteph would be running to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, wherever, crying about how her life sucks and everybody else has a date around her, and then she goes on Tinder and can't even find a date herself because she gives off this energy as being, oh yeah, she's that girl, but she's not that girl at all. And more often than not, probably will act like one of those girls on Tinder that will always, for whatever which reason, have high standards towards men and towards the people they date. He needs to be 6 feet, have a six-pack, and make 6 figures. And meanwhile, this ugly bitch looked like she fell down the damn stairs and she ate Twinkies on the way down.
Drag her, slay her, sipping on that true tea, hunty. Yeah.
But the point that I'm trying to illustrate as this video comes to a pathetic closing is that Volition doesn't care. They don't care about Saints Row anymore, and they don't care about the customer base because they're too busy self-including themselves and self-inserting themselves into their franchises and in their IPs that they just completely become disconnect with reality and the expectations of their fan base and the gaming industry as a whole. And then when that is very same product that they put themselves in and they self-inserted themselves in fails, crashes, and burns from the heavens above down like a fiery phoenix, they have the nerve to run to Twitter and blame fans and call them terrorists and haters on Twitter, and then they go and do the inevitable and do the same exact thing that they just tried, and they're hoping it sticks and they leave them big sales. And it will be overly hyped with videos and promotion that makes it seem better than what it actually is. Like, dude, on the real, on Phone M Grave, if you take a look at the graffiti wall that was used as a teaser leading up to Gamescom for the Saints Row 2022 reboot reveal, like, it's a complete 180-degree spin from that in the reveal trailer and what the game actually is. Because if you look at the graffiti wall, you see the Saints logo, you see the rebooting, and then you see all the gang insignia added on over time, and you see all their gang signs, their insignias, everything. It looks like normal, regular Saints Row like we grown up on in 2006 and 2008. And then when the Gamescom reveal trailer came out, it was actually representative of what the game actually was when it released in 2022. Like I said before, all Volition had to do was just delay it 2 or 3 years, go back to the drawing board, and just put out the game that everybody wanted and take out all this politically correct bullshit that they had in their game, but they refused to do it, and now their company is sinking, crashing, and burning. Instead of being put in the most prominent position to compete with Rockstar's Grand Theft Auto, you're instead now putting in the most prominent position of debating on whether or not you should support this game that literally no one cares about. Good job, Volition and Deep Silver. Like I said, I don't know how you guys do it, but I genuinely want to know how you guys kill Saints Row every single time from Saints Row 3 onwards. I genuinely want to know how you guys do it, because I don't know if you guys need any help. I could have been there for you guys. I literally could have been there for you guys and help you make the right decisions, because you people for sure need it at this point. But at this point, I think it's safe to say that Saints Row is officially dead. No one cares about it anymore. Its talent has been squeezed dry, and its legacy will forever be tainted and will forever live in Rockstar Games' shadow. So in the name of unholy rants, you can gladly suck my dick like Tekashi 6ix9ine.